So as I've been changing in my faith and evolving over the time I've been a believer, I've found myself coming, I guess, a lot more in line of almost an orthodox way of seeing faith and theology, which is a lot more symbolic versus Enlightenment, Western focused. However, I'm also really convinced that the church needs ideological diversity within local communities because otherwise, whenever anyone changes and evolves, they move and they go to where people think like them, and it's just bubbles upon bubbles, and no one's growing. However, I've found in any conversation outside of just practical details of life, like if you're trying to talk theology or Bible with people, it's ships passing in the night. I mean, there's almost no way to bridge that gap.
So you almost have to go to other communions when you're evolving yourself.
It's nearly impossible. Like, I don't think anyone has any idea what I'm talking about in my church right now, for example. So, but however, I don't know what your own personal experience is with that, because I also don't want to leave. I mean, because I love these people also, but it's just, you're, a C.S. Lewis quote that's been really profound to me recently is, what you see and hear depends a lot upon where you're standing. It also depends upon what kind of person you are. And I've seen that to be profoundly true. And you can't change, I mean, somewhat you can change what people see and hear a little bit, but not a lot.
There are limits, You are who you are, and they are who they are. And yeah, I mean, that is such a common scenario in our day and age, and I've experienced it as well. And you know, I felt like I had to leave the church, and what I've missed is watching kids grow up. So you miss that community, but I felt I had to go because I was going crazy, and I would not be growing spiritually. So it's a hard thing to do, and you know, that's why at least we have different traditions and denominations. At least there are places to go. You have to recreate community pretty quickly, which is hard to do, but at least they're there. But, you know, at least, you know, in the American church scene, denominations exist to not do what you're asking them to do. That's the problem, right? You don't have, unless, I mean, you know, there are some communions that are a little bit different. I know I'm like I say I'm sort of Episcopalian. I go there, but I don't join, because no one's going to tell me what to do. Now, I talked with Tim over lunch about I just can't do denominations, because as soon as I join one, I want to fight against it. That's my personality. I know my weakness, so I don't even join. I'm happy. So anyway, but Episcopalians, you know, you could have more breadth there, right? Because, and like the Orthodox Church too, because they're not driven by the fine-tuning of doctrine. Certainly the Orthodox Church is more driven by worship practices and tradition and an embrace of mystery, which is a very healthy thing, you know. I think they stand up too much in an Orthodox service, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to stand up for 2 hours, like, really? And surely God would not have given me a butt if he wanted me to stand up for 2 hours. Anyway, but... you know, and Episcopalians somewhat too, they're more defined by their liturgy, right? And that's why I've been attracted to liturgy for that very reason, and trying to recreate community for like the 4th time in my adult life. And you keep moving to different kinds of churches that are still rooted in doctrinal precision and biblicism. You're just going to run into the same problem again and again and again if you're not wired that way. And it took me a while to realize how I was wired. And you're probably a bit younger than I am. So you're catching on to this a lot earlier, and I think you'll be happier for it, but that doesn't mean it's an easy decision, because you have a community and you probably love those people. And you might have to make a decision to say, listen, I'm not going to push things too much. I'm just going to sort of be. And then see how that goes after a few weeks or months. And you will hear that voice inside of you just nagging, saying you might have to take a risk in your life and do something else. Maybe, not definitely. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying maybe that may come to that point. But if you're not ready to do that, don't do it. You know?
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's a great question. It's such a common thing. So anyway,
thank you again, everyone, for coming out.